when she was born and how school was out of my life right then. Like I was so happy with being a father and wanted to be in my child's life. Like wanted to be. As I got older, I started to think like, well, my daddy probably was because I was supposed to have a child in high school when I was 17 years old. It never happened because the umbilical cord got wrapped around my child's neck and was cutting off circulation for her to breathe. So she had a miscarriage. She miscarried. So I wasn't able to have that child in high school, but I was preparing myself. And at the time I was preparing myself for that, I was wondering like what my dad was around this time, or was he happy about my mom being pregnant, or whenever my son get 1 year old, or my daughter be 1 year old, how this would be, or what my daddy was at. So I was more so happy about being a father than being a football player, being a student, going pro, going to a Division I college, any of that. I didn't want to fail at being a father. So I was there from that point on. And when I came home from my daughter being born, automatically, I just knew I needed money. I got to robbing people, start doing things that was all the way out of my character. I'm doing crazy things out of the norm that I had no problem. It became normal for me. And then when my grandmother passed, it's like, oh yeah, this your lifestyle now. I became what I seen in the neighborhood when I was growing up, what I didn't want to be. I became that drug dealer. I became that robber. I became that person that was shooting at people because of certain things going on. I never had initial beef with anybody in the streets, but because of the lifestyle my brother was living and what he was doing when I was gone, I had to be his protector and make sure things was going right. Regardless of how good I can talk to the next person or whatever the case may be, that person don't want to talk when he got a gun out. So I started doing things that I know if my grandmother was around at the time, she wouldn't have been nowhere near proud of.
Let me ask you this. So you said that you left school because, you know, around that time your daughter was born, and school was no longer on your mind.
Right.
You was definitely just ready to be a father. Looking back at it now, do you regret leaving school?
I used to regret leaving school, but at the same time, I knew I didn't know then, but I know now that leaving school, I still could have come back home and go to a community college or whatever the case may be, but my mind wasn't on that. So I don't regret leaving school. Like, God got a plan for everything.
Right.
Regardless of whatever I had planned for myself when I was in school, whatever my grandmother had planned for me, or whatever I wanted to be, I believe God had planned on whatever he wanted Darius Thomas to go through. Not to say, oh, well, God made me this way and be arrogant and sound crazy. Well, God, I'm the reason I'm shooting people. God wanted me to shoot at people, or God wanted me to rob people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, God had the final say-so in everything. Like, so I don't regret anything. And it took some maturity and some growing to understand that. I used to question God and his decisions. Right. Now I just go with it and understand that he had the best intentions and all. Like, I used to want to be an NFL player and take my family out to being this person, but now I just feel like because of my lifestyle and what I went through, I feel like that God wanted me to be a father, that right father that I was missing during the time but wasn't thinking about, or a father or a good mentor or a good coach or something like that. Like, if somebody would have told me this when I was younger, playing Pop Warner, that you're going to be this person, you ain't going to the pros or whatever the case may be, I would have laughed at them.
Right.
Or wouldn't even took them serious. Probably wouldn't even have been around that person no more for even trying to tank my image of what I want to be. But now looking back on it, like, I'm embracing what I'm becoming. I love being a father. I love being around my kids. I love playing semi-pro football. Like, I might not be world known, but the people who know me, that mean a lot to me. Like, my kids' upbringing, like, they're going to be able to walk around Charlotte and people be able to respect them just off of the way I was living my life. Or, like, and I'm appreciative of that. Like, everybody can't say that. Or a lot of things that I've done in my lifetime, like I know a lot of people won't even be able to experience or understand why I did that. Like I used to hear stories, like when I had came back home from school and had my daughter and then got into robbing, like little kids that used to look up to me and come to the high school games. Like I got a homeboy, his father told him one time that I was on cocaine, like because of my lifestyle being changed so much. Like I came from being this popular football player to now I'm back home and I'm robbing people and I'm going to jail back and forth, and now I'm having a shootout and doing these things. He started telling his kid that I was on cocaine.
So I was thinking back a little bit. Believe me, I did my research. So let me ask, after talking to a few people and doing my research, I want to ask you this. I know that back when you was in high school, that your dad used to take you around to all the different schools, and once you got to the school, he would tell you exactly what you're going to do to that school when you play there. How did that feel and what did that mean to you?
Listen, my dad, like the first time he did that, I was in middle school. Before I even got to high school, we rode past Vance High School and he was telling me that I was going to play varsity at Vance. I didn't believe him for nothing. I'm not even attempting to believe him or whatever the case may be. It never even crossed my mind that I'm going to be a ninth grader playing varsity. I got to Vance, I'm a ninth grader playing varsity. I got, we playing football. We'll go by, it used to be like every Wednesday or Thursday night, we'll go by whatever school we playing that Friday, and he'll tell me exactly what I'm going to do. He'll tell me we'll go to Providence. We'll sit in Providence parking lot. It might be 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Everybody gone. My dad sit up there in his driver's seat, drink his beer. We sitting up there. Sometimes the school might be blocked off. We might sit in front of the school or wherever we can get into the schools or whoever we playing. No matter if it was a home game or away game. But my dad would tell me, tomorrow night, son, you're gonna probably gonna have 8 solo tackles. If they throw you the ball, you're gonna score a touchdown. If you get a punt return, you're gonna almost score it, but they're not gonna block for you fully. Or he used to break it down into details. Like my dad, and he would be on point. Like maybe 1 or 2 times he'll miss, but 80-90% of the time he was on point about football, about what I was gonna do, baseball, what I was gonna do, basketball. It was easy for him, and I didn't believe him. I just took everything into heat. I just couldn't wait for the football game or the basketball game or whatever, because I wanted to show up and I wanted to live to my dad's standards, what he was saying that I would do.
Right.
You know, so back on it, it was like he could have worked with Cleo. Like he was on point about a lot of stuff, man, and I'm thankful, man. I appreciate my dad for that. Like that gave me confidence. It made me feel like my dad said, you know what I mean? My dad said I'm gonna do this, and I wasn't scared. Like people lack confidence in themselves. Like especially like I was small. Like I'm 5'9", 125 pounds playing varsity football. Like I got to tackle 200-pound running backs or whatever the case may be. I'm not scared. I don't play free safety. I'm playing strong safety. So 7 times out of 10, I'm in a box.
Right. Or
Or I'm rolling down, I got flats, or I got hook the curl, or I'm blitzing, or something like that. I'm never over the top. Rarely. I was physical. Like, it was real.
my research, and I know your times in high school. So I want to ask you, how did it feel to have your dad and your granddad on the sideline?
What's crazy is I played for West Charlotte for 2 years. In those 2 years, our record for West Charlotte was 24-7. Every single home game that I played football for West Charlotte, my dad and granddad was the chain gang. That was a part of the chain gang. My dad would be on the sideline, like I know for a fact he can be on the other team's sideline and they talking bad about his son, or how they want to do this to his son, or all we got to do is get him out the game, or whatever the case may be. It just made me feel good that my dad and my granddad was there. Like my dad played quarterback. My dad played quarterback for Garinger, and my granddad played quarterback. Come to find out, he played quarterback for Second Ward. And just acknowledge that was passing me during the game and let me know, like I can be on that sideline. My dad will let me know, well, you got to watch that that safety, he rolling down in the box a little bit on your cadence. Like, he'll let me know little extra things, and I was appreciative to it, or whatever the case may be. But all in all, they let me play football. It made me feel good that now I really got somebody that's supporting me, other than students at the game, or
Right.
you know what I mean. When my sisters got to be of age to go to games by themselves, that was at my football games or whatever game, and everybody knew them, everybody loved them. They knew who they were. They knew who they were to me. You know, so it was pretty cool, and I'm thankful for the coaches for even allowing that to happen, because they could have been strict and was like, well, no, we're gonna use somebody else, or we're gonna do this or do that. But they let my dad and my granddad do it, so that was a blessing.
And then even younger, when you was even younger, you made a promise to your dad when you was 10 years old.
Yep.
You remember that promise?
Yeah, definitely. I told my dad that whenever I get in high school, because like I told you, whenever I was younger, I was always a standout in sports. I told my dad, if I ever broke a record, that with whatever football, basketball, baseball, that I would get that ball and I'd give it to you right then and there. Like, no matter what's going on, they can throw me out or whatever the case may be, I'm giving you that, whatever it was. High school, I ended up breaking a record, and it was crazy. Like, my senior year, it was crazy. Like, the record stood for, I believe it was 14 years at the time. Keith Mackins had the West Charlotte record for most touchdowns in the season. I ended up breaking a record, and like my word, I gave my dad that football. I signed the football and everything, and told him how much he meant to me. Not because of you came in my life when I was 7 years old, and I'm glad for that. It felt like he was there the whole time and support me and made me have that confidence in myself. Like, people grow up with their dad and people don't grow up with their dad, or whatever the case may be. I had both. My dad wasn't there then, my dad was there. He was there sometime. I'm back with my mom, I'm back with my grandma, now I'm back with my dad because my dad doing right. Like, it was both. You know, when I was 10 years old, I told my dad that. I believe I was 10 years old, and I told him that. And with the blessings of God, we made that come true. Right. And my teammates, we made that come true. And once again, I'm thankful for that.
So, on this football field, I mean, you've been a standout athlete pretty much your whole life. Now that, I mean, you stated earlier that you're now playing semi-pro ball. You played college ball. You, of course, high school all the way to when, you know what I'm saying, you play youth league ball. With all that being said, what do you think your biggest strength is when it comes to football?
My biggest strength, I know for a fact that my biggest strength has nothing to do with me playing football, period. My biggest strength is my leadership. I know that for a fact. I can bring out the best in people, regardless of how good they are or how not good they are, not saying how sorry they are. I know I can bring out the best in people. I know I can dig deep into somebody and bring out the best in them without me even playing in the game, without me even being under center. Like, I know for a fact that my leadership is the best attribute that I have.
Right. When you're done playing ball, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be?
I'm done playing ball. I already know that I'm gonna be coaching. I'm gonna coach football. I'm probably gonna get my own little league football team. Barber school. Open up my own barber shop. Like, the last few years, like, it's supposed to be my last season of playing semi-pro football, but the way things going and losing championships, that don't sit right with me. So I come back, but I'm always putting off what I always said that I want to do, and I want to give back to the community and coach and being a impact other kids' lives and help other people out. Like, I want to do that a lot. Like, I know for a fact that my testimony and what I've been through can touch other people, and I can help people get to school, and I can be an example of hope for a kid or somebody else. Dedicated to football, it's hard for me to do those things. So after football, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm a coach. I'm gonna be that mentor, all the while being that husband and the father for my kids.
Right. What was your first thing that you did that was out of your norm, where you found yourself? I know you stated some things about robbing people, shooting people. So what was the first thing that you did? And I guess my question would be also why?
The first thing that I did was, as far as I came back home and started hanging with people that I didn't even normally hang with.
Right.
Like I started hanging with people, like before I went to school, I'm hanging with people that's on the same page as me. They about to go off to school and they trying to do right for their families or whatever the case may be. I came back from school and all those people that was trying to do right, they at school or they doing right or whatever the case may be. All the people that you don't want your kids to hang around or you don't want your kids to grow up being like, and I wasn't working and I had responsibilities. My daughter needed this and my child, where she was living at, her mother had bills and I had to help with those bills and I couldn't run to mom and say, Mom, you know what, my daughter needs this, or my granny was sick at the time. She was more so getting ready to, so it was tough. I had nobody to ask or whatever the case may be. I was filling out applications, but it's feeling like stuff was so slow, like I couldn't get a job, and I started doing what I became a product of my environment. I started doing what people in my environment was doing. I started robbing people. The first time I robbed somebody, I believe I had got like $300, some weed, or whatever the case may be. I gave my child mother that $300, and I did whatever I was doing with the weed, whether it was smoking it, selling it, whatever I was doing at the time. The person that I robbed, it came back. We started shooting at each other, like it started being crazy. Now I can't even live the life that I want to live, like how I can normally walk up the street and go to the store. Now I got to be on the lookout. Now I got to start doing other things. My little brother seen what I was doing. He was already doing it, but now that he see his big brother doing it and the person that I was before I left, it made it more easy for him to do it. Like, my brother out here, he doing it, so we can. So it was crazy, man. My grandmother passed and it became more crazy. I didn't care. I didn't care who you was or what was going on. I got into several fights that I ain't have no business getting into, and I know for a fact that the fight shouldn't even have lasted as long as it lasted. I started doing things in fights that's like, why are you doing all that extra stuff? Like, I started doing stuff off the strength of thinking my granny gone or you had something to do with my grandma passing or whatever the case may be. I started taking my anger out on people. It was crazy, man. It didn't get right until I started playing football again. It made me feel like, okay, man, let me get myself right and get my head back right. I had met this woman at the time. Her name was Tamara. We got into church. I got into the Word. Well, I got into the Word when I had ended up getting locked up. Started reading the Bible, but when I got home from jail, I got with this woman Tamara. We started going to church. I started going to Bible study. I talked to one of my homeboys who went to high school with me. He was younger than me, LeVance, and he was telling me about semi-pro football. First, I was playing semi-pro football for the Gators. I ended up getting into some trouble. I played like 2 games for the Gators. I ended up getting into some trouble. I got locked up. For my first time getting locked up. I got locked up for like 90 days over the whole season. So it was like football season gone. I played next year. That's when I had seen LeVance, and he was telling me about the football team or whatever nights. I started coming out to that football practice and playing football. It just gave me something to look forward to other than what I was already doing. Like,
So you said that when you was playing with the Gators, you played 2-3 games and then you ended up getting locked up. That was the first time you got locked up. What exactly did you get locked up for?
I got locked up for robbery with a dangerous weapon. What I got locked up for, my bond was $110,000. I had other co-defendants. Of course, I got locked up, and they didn't catch my co-defendant. They caught me. So whatever came with that, I had to take that charge. I knew we didn't have $110,000 or 10% of that. Right. So I knew I was gonna be in jail for a while. Now it was no evidence on me being there or me having to do with robbing the people, because I didn't, at the time, it wasn't me who robbed the people. I was there on the scene, but I didn't rob the people or whatever the case may be, so they ended up letting me out of jail after 90 days.
Right.
So I was in there for a while in jail. I had got into one altercation.
Take us through your first night ever being locked up. How did that feel? What was going through your mind?
It was not only my first time getting locked up, I had been arrested before, but I hadn't been to jail. Like, I've been arrested for disorderly conduct. They'll take me to a small little precinct, talk to me or whatever, disrespect police officers or whatever the case may be. So my first time getting locked up and it's being real, now I'm getting fingerprinted and I'm going through processing. It was scary for me. I didn't think I was getting out of jail. I'm like, I'm a robber. And they put me on, the floor that they put me on, it was people with blue band. And anytime that you see people with a blue band, that means they federal. Either they done killed somebody, or they doing some time behind some big drug, or some child molestation, or something that's real big. Like it was only like out of 52 people, like it's 52 rooms that was in my pod. 26 upstairs, 26 downstairs. Out of those 52 rooms, like you might only have like 4 people that was orange band, like regular orange band, and I was one of the 4. Everybody else was federal or really doing time. So I could complain about me being in here, but at the same time, the people who I'm around, they're like, "Boy, you going home in a year? Like you get to go home. Like you can cry all you want to, but you going home eventually." Like the people that I was around, who I was hanging around in jail, like they finna do at least 10 years or 7 to 10, or they killed somebody. And these was people who I'm playing basketball with on the rec yard, who I'm working out with on the rec yard, or they done heard about me because I played quarterback for West Charlotte, or whatever the case may be. I'm talking to these people, and I used to I'm crying and wondering why this is going on with me. And they're like, "Man, you better suck that up. You get to go home. You want to trade spots with me? You want to be here for 15 years? You want to trade spots?" So that made me. But that first night, man, I was missing my granny so much. I was missing my daughter. Like it was crazy. I couldn't do nothing. I was crying. I was hollering. I couldn't do nothing but do push-ups. That's all I wanted to do. Something that's gonna take me out and put me to sleep fast. I was doing push-ups, man.
What some other charges or some of the times that you were arrested?
I got locked up. That was the most time that I ever did was in 2013. I got locked up for financial card theft. I was in there for almost 4 or 5 months. I was in there for 118 days. I was locked up for financial card theft, doing something I had no business doing. Going into cars, getting cards, and we going to Walmart. I'm getting my daughter clothes off the cars. I'm getting her Pampers. I'm getting groceries for the house. Our homeboys, it was so cool. It was so easy for them to do it. Like as far as like we'd go out into rich neighborhoods, cars would be unlocked. We had some cars that was push button start or whatever. I wasn't into carjacking or whatever the case may be. But those cards or money or anything that we can find. That's how I end up getting locked up off that, doing that, financial card theft. I had somebody card, I'm in Walmart and I was swiping that card to get some things for the house. Like even the judge was reading the things that I was getting. Like I could have been selfish and tried to get things that was worth money, but I was getting Pampers, I'm getting sugar, I'm getting cereal, all at the Walmart. I'm getting tank tops. Like I try to spend like $500 a week on stuff, on buying cars. Like it got to a point to where I stopped going out to popping locks, and I was just waiting for my homeboys to get back, and I'd buy a car from them for $40 because I know I'm finna spend $500 to $600 on this car.
Is it safe to say that the biggest reason for you getting into what people would call this street life was more of a survival thing than anything?
Definitely. Like if I would have had, I promise you, because of my mother or my grandmother, they didn't raise me to be a gangster or no street person or to be street or to be real or hood or anything like that. Like I had to do that off surviving. If I had a job or if my family had money or had anything to give to make sure that I was living a good life, then I would have been good. I'm not one of these people that come from money, but you still choosing to live a street life. Like I'm not like that at all. Like no lights. What you gonna eat? Like we got candles in there. Like burning candles was normal for us after 8 o'clock. Like we ain't watching TV, we talking and we up laughing and we playing around because we don't have no power at all for at least a month and some change. Like I went through my senior year, my dad got locked up my senior year, like around January, like right before signing day, my dad got locked up. Now we don't have nobody to pay rent. We don't have nobody that's gonna make sure we eat. We don't have nobody to do none of that. And I automatically went to selling drugs from that point on. Like my sisters was living with my dad at the time. not only was I living there, but my younger sister was living there. I had 2 younger sisters, and my little brother was living there. My dad was living there. He had his own child, which was my sister's daughter. Which was my sister, but his daughter from another mom. You know what I mean? So all us was living together at the same time. My dad getting locked up, and now it's D, what we gonna do, or whatever the case may be. We could have split up and went to go back to my grandma's house or whatever the case may be, man.
Right.
And I started like doing whatever I needed to do. I didn't have no job. I didn't have that. I talked to my homeboy who I knew in the hood who had drugs and what was going on. I told him the situation, and he helped me out and gave me what I needed to make sure I was taking care of responsibilities. I didn't want to do all that. It just, I had to. I had no choice. Like, I could have been weak, or not to say weak, I could have been stronger minded and trying to find a job, or whenever I'm gonna get a job, then we can do this or we can do that, but I just jumped off the deep end and had to do whatever I had to do for the sake of us having. I have 6 kids total between me and my wife. I got 4 alone, but all together 3 boys, 3 girls.
Right.
I love my kids. They're the reason for everything. Well, I got one son. He live in Ohio. Every now and then, you know, that's my boy. I got another son that I found out about last year. You know, he the same age as my first son. So of course I had to embrace that. I have a stepson. All my boys are they're around the same age. They 3 and 4 years old. And my daughter's 7 and 1. Like I said, my kids are the reason. They saved my life. Like, it took for me, like, even though I was doing crazy things when I had my daughter, like, if it wasn't for my daughter now, if it wasn't for my kids now, all of them, I don't know what I'd be. Like, each one of them means so much to me individually. Like, I can't choose one over the other, including my stepkids. Like, I love them and they love me like I'm their father. And I'm not trying to replace their father or whatever. Mentor for a Big Brother program or Saving Lives program, or maybe I'm supposed to be somebody like this. And I'm embracing that as much as I didn't want to be that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be a symbol of hope for these kids. I wanted to be the cocky quarterback, NFL, got this money, he can take his whole family away or whatever the case may be, but God had his way, you know, and I'm appreciative of that.
Right.
Like, whatever it is, I'm 28 years old today, whatever it is that I do with my life, I know it's because first I put God first. So whatever it is, I'm cool with it. Whatever it is, I'm cool with it. If I'm just supposed to be this great husband, and that's what God created, then that's what I'm going to do. If I'm supposed to be this great father, then that's what I'm going to do. If I'm supposed to be this great football coach, then that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to talk to God in whatever direction he steer me in, that's what I'm going. To my father, Dad, before I had my own kid, you were my best friend. I remember when I was 17 years old, we was sitting outside, and I said, if I can be like anybody in the world, it'll be you. And it's not because of you weren't a professional football player, you weren't a rich man, you weren't a wealthy man. It's because of how you treated us as your kids and how you treated my little brother who wasn't your kid. It made me feel like this is a real man. I'm so thankful for you to even be in my life to this day. I'm thankful for you taking me to those football practices. I'm thankful for you being there for my sisters and brothers. I'm thankful for you. We stand 2 miles away from the bus stop. I see you walking 2 hands with groceries in your hand for me and my brothers and sisters. I seen you donate blood for us to have food in the house. I seen you sacrifice so much. You the one who showed me that sacrifice comes before success. You the true definition of what a real man supposed to be, regardless of when I met you, regardless of any of that. Once I met you, once I understood what was going on in my life, I knew for a fact that you who I wanted to be like. I seen my mother talk bad about you. I seen my grandmother talk bad about you. I seen a lot of people bad mouth you. But it don't take my image of the person or the man that you were for me growing up, or even when I was in school, you showed me that tough love. You showed me what a father really is. You showed me what a best friend is. You gave me that confidence in myself when I was lacking confidence. You gave me that boost in myself when I needed that boost. Like, you was always that extra momentum that I need. Like, I can always look over and knew my dad had good advice for me, regardless if I wanted to hear it or not. It was times where we didn't see eye to eye, or I chose my sister's side because I didn't see your point of view or what you had, and I apologize for that. It was times to where I disrespected you as a man, and I apologize for that, regardless of when you was there or wasn't there. I apologize for any negative times that I ever had with you, that I never disrespect you ever in my life again. As a man, as both of us are a man today, I would never disrespect you. Regardless of what you have going on now, as far as new family and starting over, I got a new little sister and a new little brother. I'm thankful for them. I'll be in their life. I'm continue to be in your life. I never down talk you. I don't want bad on you. I don't wish bad on you. I pray for you all the time. You're one of the most people I pray for. I'm just thankful for you being in my life, man. I know had my homeboys had a father like you would have saved a lot of their lives. Because I know when you got in my life, you saved mine. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I had a father to really teach me the right way. I had a grandmother too. My granny meant a lot. My mother did a lot. But you can't teach a man how to be a man unless you a real man. And you were that, regardless of what went on. And I'm thankful and I love you.
In closing, I spoke to your father, and he relayed a message. He wanted to give you a message through me. Well, paraphrasing the message, he wanted me to tell you that no matter what you thought, he's proud of you. He wanted me to tell you that the man that you are today, that's the man that he envisioned you to be. He said he is definitely proud of you. He said he knows that there's so much in life that you could have done, but the man that you are right now is who you're supposed to be. So don't think he's not proud of you, because he said that he is proud of you. I spoke to him this afternoon. He said, tell my son that I do love him, and that's not going to change. So I gave him my word that I'm going to let you know that. So Darius Thomas, your father is proud of you. And I mean, he said he couldn't change it he wouldn't change it for the world.
My dad's opinion about me, like what he say, whenever he says something, it mean the most to me. Like, it get to me because of how stern he was on me. Like, I can get in trouble in school, and the way he disciplined me. Like, when I was young, you probably couldn't tell my dad I wasn't going pro. My dad used to show me off. I'd go in barbershops, how big I was. My dad would make me do extra push-ups or do some sit-ups or do something that other kids wasn't doing. Like, I felt like whenever I came home from school and I didn't go back to school, I disappointed my dad. I felt like playing semi-pro was a disappointment to my dad. I felt like robbing people was a disappointment to my dad because he didn't want me to do that. Or my grandmother, they didn't want that. My dad sacrificed so much for us. I seen my dad get in relationships with women just so we can have places to stay. I seen my dad taking kids and just so their mother can help us out on rent. I seen my dad start fake basketball camps just so we can have rent paid. When we'll be doing basketball camps on the side of our house.
look at it like, I used to be mad at my dad for a lot of things that he did and never understood why he did it, but as I got older, man, I'm appreciative for him, and I thank him, man, and his opinion means more than anybody's opinion to me, more than my wife's opinion means to me, or more than anybody. What he think of me just mean the most because of the type of person he is. If he look at you and say you a low life, he been thinking about that for a while. If he look at you and tell you he proud of you, he been thinking about that for a while. If he look at you and tell you, boy, you got some growing up to do, he been thinking about that for a while. He didn't just wake up and say, well, D, you made the wrong decision. You got a lot growing up to do. Or, man, I'm proud of you today. Like, he been thinking about that for a while, and it mean a lot to me. It mean a lot to me. Like, my dad was my first actual real best friend that I can go to and talk to my dad about anything. My dad was excited when he found out I was into girls and I was having sex. You know what I mean? Like, anybody else there, they would be probably mad or didn't want you to have sex at the time or whatever the case may be. It got to where I was 17 years old. I had a child on the way. I couldn't wait to go home and tell my dad. You know what I mean? Like, people will run from telling their parents that, or I don't want my parents to think this or think that about me. Even when I started smoking weed, my dad knew well before I even wanted to tell him. Like, I was so scared to tell my dad that I was smoking weed. I was so scared to tell my dad I was having sex. The only time I wasn't scared to tell my dad is when I was having a child, because I knew he was going to be happy for me and support me. I thought that telling him that I was smoking weed, he was going to be so disappointed, which he was. He wasn't happy with me smoking weed or whatever the case may be. He told me the pros and cons about smoking weed, and I took it however I took it at the time. But my dad, man, my dad is my hero. My dad is my hero, and it's not even about what he can do for me physically. It's about the type of person he was and how he was there for me and how he supported me and what he wanted from me. And just to know that I'm making him proud, it make me feel like, man, I'm thankful, but I want to make him prouder. Like, I don't want to stop right here. I don't want to be satisfied. Like, if he think I'm making him proud now, wait till a year or wait till 2 years and see how you feel. You know what I mean? My dad, I love my parents. I didn't have the best, but what I had was enough. And I'm thankful.
And Darius Thomas, man, I appreciate you coming here today. I know that we touched a lot of sensitive subjects, man, and I appreciate you, you know, giving us permission and the opportunity to get deep with you. So, I mean, in closing, with that said, I mean, final shot, is there anything you want to tell the world, anything at all?
Like, I'm not down on myself because I didn't become this person that I wanted to become as a little kid. I'm more so happy that things unfolded the way they did. I'm not a crackhead. I'm not doing bad. I'm not to say it bad like that. I don't want to speak on nobody who may have that drug addict in their family. I'm not doing bad. I'm upright. I'm not choosing the wrong drugs. I'm in my kid's life. I'm a child of God. I love the Lord more than anything in this world. I'm a husband. You know, I'm doing right. I'm a quarterback. I'm a leader. And I'm a pretty good one at that. Anybody that ever doubted me, anybody that ever looked at me and just shook their head at me, thank you. I needed that. Anybody that looked at me and hated on me, thank you. I don't even wish bad on you. Anybody that wanted to see me dead or wanted to see any bad things happen to me, thank you. I'm so appreciative that y'all are the reason why I want to be in my kids' life. Y'all are the reason why I'm married. Y'all are the reason why I want to be successful. Y'all are the reason why I'm going to be successful. Y'all are the reason for a lot of things, and I appreciate y'all. Regardless if you like me or any of that, I'm thankful for y'all. I'm thankful for the people that love me. I'm thankful for the people that support me and have my back. I'm thankful for my football team and my coaching staff and the brotherhood that I bring. I'm thankful for so much in life that people take for granted every day. I'm thankful for being able to wake up in the morning and see my kids. I'm thankful for being able to use my legs to play football. Like, I'm a blessed individual, regardless of people see it or not. And on the right path, know those things. Look at me and see a man of God. That's what I want to tell people.
Man, I definitely appreciate it. And for everybody, man, I want to thank Darius Thomas for coming out today for the first episode of Who Am I? And until next time, thank you.
Something's changed. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now.